In our pursuit of happiness and enjoying life for what it is, I feel like a lot of us look for it in external things. It's not necessarily external things that make you happy, but you that makes you happy. It's a result of your choices and your action and your perspective on whatever it is you're encountering that makes you happy. And what I've realized is all feelings and emotion are owned by whoever's having them. If I feel happy, if I feel angry, if I feel anything, it's me feeling it. So I'm responsible for that feeling in some way or another. Of course, things can influence that. Things can make that change and, influence it. But as it pertains to the foundation, I feel like our happiness has to be brought out by ourselves. You have to do what makes you happy at the end of the day. And it really doesn't matter what other people think about what makes you happy. As long as it's moral and it doesn't, impede on anyone else's well being, I feel like anything and any progression towards yourself should be done. And I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday about how, being an individual is really all you have to do. And I feel like individuality is what inspires other people to be individuals. It's the fact that other people have complex lives that makes you want to live out your own. And I think the realization of that is just realizing that you do have your own. You know, everyone is just human. Everyone's pretty much on an even playing field the way I see it. And, you know, people can be happy with any walk they choose. Because happiness isn't about possession. It's not about anything but perspective. It's about how you make yourself happy in your action. Because if you depend on everyone else in every circumstance to make you happy, then you're governed by the world. And I said it in a video the other day, but the more you try to exercise control over the world, the more it controls you. The more you're influenced by what happens, by who said this, who did that. If you set your foundation within yourself, then I feel like those problems don't arise. Because happiness is truly an internal thing, and you have to make yourself happy. You are what makes you happy. It's your progression. You're learning about yourself. You doing this, you doing that makes you happy. It's you getting this, you getting that, you getting whatever that makes you happy. So I think we just have to realize how much our choices and how much our action influence how we feel. And not just our action, but our perspective. Because a lot of times we don't take action due to the perspectives that we take on certain things. We don't push ourselves. We don't put ourselves in uncomfortable situations because, I don't know, we feel like we'll lose part of ourselves. And I feel like we have to have low expectation in order to have real happiness in life. And that's, sort of sad to say, but, the world doesn't give you what you want all the time. It gives you what you need. And you have to give yourself what you want. You have to be that bridge. You have to bridge that gap and give yourself what the universe can't provide for you. And once I realized that, then it's no longer a battle of, oh, I need to get this from the world, or I'm waiting for this, I'm waiting for that. No, I'm watching myself get to it. I'm just being me, and that's all you have to do. Be yourself with positive intention and do whatever you see fit that makes you happy. Of course, take care of your responsibilities. And I feel like sometimes it gets misconstrued when I say stuff like that because it kind of gets pushed off as, drop everything you're doing. Don't be responsible. I take care of my responsibilities heavily. But I do them in such a intentional manner that, once they get done, all of life is relaxation. All of life is gratitude and getting everything I can. It's because I'm choosing to be here while I'm here. When I am doing whatever task I need to do, whenever I need to be disciplined, I'm doing it wholeheartedly. I'm living in the feeling that inspired me to take that action. Like, I want to do this. I want to become this. I want to achieve a certain something as it pertains to my goals and aspirations. So I do whatever I see fit that makes me feel like I'm going towards that goal. Whatever makes me feel like I'm tending towards more of myself. And I feel like if we all try to do that, all we would have to do in life is just be. Because happiness is all around. It's always existing. It's ever present. All your emotions and every vibration, positive and negative, all exist all at once. It's just important to tune into whatever you feel, you need to tune into. And most of the time for me, it's positivity. Your mind is a tool, not a console. And a lot of times our mind opens our eyes to many possibilities. And that's not a bad thing at all. What's bad is living in these possibilities, living in a reality that you don't want. A lot of times in our head, we suffer before it's necessary. We think about these situations, we get so wrapped up in how we're going to act and how we're going to do this, how we're going to express it. And then the world shows us a little something different than what we expected. And that's when we get set off foot. That's when we get pushed off guard. And that's when our anxiety starts to set in. That's why I feel like it's important to have no expectation when it comes to your happiness and your progression. And realize if you're going to be happy, you have to give that to yourself without expecting things from the external world. Because at the end of the day, you're with yourself 100% of the time. And if you can learn to make yourself happy, if you can learn to do what makes you happy regardless, then it doesn't matter how the world is. You're going to enjoy your life just for enjoying it. And I feel like at the end of the day, that's what's important. Because once you do that, then you start to tend towards things that will make you even more happy. Doing the things that you actually care about and caring about the people that you actually care about. Because at the end of the day, you caring about yourself and realizing that your happiness comes from you is also taking responsibility and treating yourself like a friend. It's pushing the idea that if you want something, you have to provide it. If you want something, you have to embody it in more ways than one. And I know that seems kind of like attacking the world, but in my head, it's not attacking the world at all. You know, it's not an attack at all. It's becoming one with the world, accepting the world how it is and accepting yourself how you are. Realizing that you can't change everything around here. You can't change the entire world just with your thought alone. You know, you have to take some sort of action, but it's you that has to take the action. It's you that has to realize that it's your relationship to the world, and you're the one that can bring anything you want to it. Because you have an infinite amount of potential. You have everything you need already. It's just about doing what you can with what you have. You know, it may look different. Your happiness may look different from when you were a kid or when you're now, but it's about rediscovering that happiness and realizing that that part of you that was happy as a kid still exists now. It's about embracing your inner child and addressing your responsibility. I feel like a lot of us, when we encounter responsibility in our age of adults, it might be a Gen Z thing for all I know. I really don't know. But the way I see it, you know, I find it a lot easier to still exist with a certain amount of wonder, a certain amount of curiosity about the world, and a certain amount of happiness for mundane things and gratitude for everything. I think familiarity is what's sort of stripping us from experience the happiness of our day to day. When you moved into the house you moved into now, you were probably happy. When you got the phone you were probably happy. When you met this person, you were probably super happy. It's about continuing your passion. You know, recognizing that you have to reinvigorate yourself with your feelings and live in your positivity and not live in the possibility of things going haywire, things being this way, things being that way. Focus on how things are, because there is no should or could have, only things that are, things that have been and things that have happened. And I think if we learn to appreciate that, then we learn how to move forward from many things. You know, if we constantly spend our time in thinking about how a situation should have unfolded, then I don't think we do anything to mitigate the problem that actually arose from the situation. You know, you can't heal from a wound you don't acknowledge. If we're constantly, if I break my leg and I'm worried about my shoulder, and my shoulder's fine, then it doesn't really do anything. Like, oh, what if I hit my shoulder? But my leg is broken. Like, there's things that we need to focus on, of course, in order to be able to be present, be able to be here. And that mainly is being present enough to see our wounds and seeing how much we need to influence things. You know, your mind is a tool, not a console. And if all you could do is think about it, I think it's probably not worth thought. I feel like we spend so much time in inaction due to our thought. You know, we think that we can think through issues, think through these problems, which to some degree we can. But we have to recognize when we need to stop thinking about it, when it becomes out of our control. Because if it's not in your hands, it shouldn't be in your mind. You know, there's a lot of things that are speculated, and it's one thing to be curious, and it's one thing to question. I feel like questioning is where we get hurt. Curiosity doesn't really hurt. You know, curiosity killed the cat, but I feel like in some ways curiosity doesn't. In my head, curiosity is what without expectation, but purely observation. You know, when you're questioning things, it's when you sort of allow it to be the other thing. Like, I feel like if you question yourself often, that's when you get anxious. That's when you start to feel the repercussions of your thought in your mind, and you start to succumb to the world rather than being yourself. Because I don't necessarily know if the world wants you to be a certain way, but you should want yourself to be a certain way. And that way that you should want to be is just yourself. Because that's where your happiness is. That's where your love is. Your love for life, your thirst for adventure, whatever. It all exists in the present moment. It exists where you are now and in your happiness and in your understanding that if you're going to be happy, it's something you have to recognize within yourself. You know, happiness is, of course, a feeling. It's a vibration. It's positivity. And it can be expressed in so many different ways. You know, you could be happy doing 1,000 different things. You could be happy putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation because, you know, once you overcome it, there's happiness there. And that's what I started to do recently. But at the end of the day, it's just about doing what makes you happy. You know, if you like to draw, if you like to do art, if you like to go on walks, if you like to do this, that, and the other, it's about doing it. And it's also about doing what you can with what you have. You know, I can't go skydiving tomorrow, but I can enjoy the day still. It's about not living in reference to things you do not yet possess. Living in reference to what you have now and doing what you can with that. I can't see my friends that live across the states, but I'm not going to live in that. Of course, I miss them, but I have friends here, and I'm here too. You know, think we just need to stop separating our happiness from ourselves in terms of other events and other people, because our happiness has to be here within us all the time. Otherwise, we won't be happy. We have to dictate that for ourselves. Otherwise, we're going to have it dictated for us. And in my perspective, the way I see it, we shouldn't live life in reference and waiting for things to make us happy when we can do that for ourselves. And that's not to say don't depend on others, don't have others in your circle, but recognize you're a part of that circle. You're a part of your relationships. You're a part of their relationship to the world, and you can bring as much as you want. If you want to be the happiness that's instilled in the world around you, then you can be that. It's about not expecting it and not depending on it to bring you that happiness. Because once you learn you can bring it to yourself, it's not really a difficult thing to do. It's just about being present and being grateful and appreciative of yourself and the world around you. You know, things don't always go the way you plan. You know, you may do this, you may make a mistake, or you might make a choice, the way I see it. And you have to live with that choice. But it's not about falling down. It's not about getting hurt. It's about healing. A strong person isn't someone that doesn't ever get hurt. It's someone that doesn't ever stop healing. It's about your continued mastery through yourself that allows you to be someone, allows you to become aware of who you are and how much you belong here, because everyone belongs here. You know, I'm starting to not think that things can go wrong in a sense. And when I say that, I don't necessarily mean there's no bad in the world. Of course, it's bad, but everything I feel like happens for a reason in a sense. Either to teach you something or to get you away from something. Sometimes the best lessons are learned by not going to the lecture. And that's, I feel like, what the point of what I do is to sort of understand that a lot of problems don't have to be problems. As long as we are present with ourselves and understand that, you know, the problem is 9 times out of 10 our perspective of the whatever we're encountering. It's about how we make it personal, how we take it within ourselves when things aren't really within us. You know, if I get an F on a test, yes, I got an F on a test, that sucks. But I have to realize that it's my action that sort of brought me there. And if I want a different outcome, it's not about dwelling, oh, I should have done this, could have done that. It's about doing what I can with what I have. I can't redo that. If I can, I will. And I'll study for it. And then the next test, you study for that as well. It's about adjusting and taking responsibility for sort of how your life plays out in a general sense, but also keeping that positive intention with yourself and being graceful with yourself. Understanding that you can't hate yourself and becoming a better person. You have to love yourself. You know, if I did bad on that test, oh, dang, I did bad. I'll do better next time because I know I can. Because I know that possibility exists within myself. And after you say something like that, after you say something positive about yourself, don't question it. I think I made that mistake of questioning it before, and it sort of messes you up. He who thinks he can and who thinks he can are typically both correct. It's not about not acknowledging the negative. It's about not living in it. If you've already addressed that there could be 2 sides, It's about which side you nurture and which side you choose, which side you want to grow into, which side you want to watch unfold. Because if you live in that negativity, you're watching negativity unfold. Because a lot of times it's not the situation, it's not the things that are being brought to us, it's the things we bring to situations. I think a lot of manifestation isn't necessarily things coming to you, but you coming to things. You attracting things in a I don't even know how to explain that. Oh my God. But just you attracting things. Just by embodying it. Just by already being there. And at the end of the day, I feel like that's what makes you happy. Is being you. And understanding you have to do whatever it takes to make yourself happy. You know? So if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. I sure did. Got a lot on the way. Once I get to my new setup, because I got a new setup coming in mid-August probably. I'm going to get that podcast channel back active. I'm going to start having a lot of different guests on there. A lot of good people. Just get some more insight, new perspectives on pretty much everybody. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. Continue support. Love you guys. Keep being great. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you're treating yourself like a friend. All of the above. Thank you.